Folks, after watching one of my Tamil videos, one of the friends asked me the question why Jesus didn't get married, Vivekananda didn't get married. Buddha, after getting married, he renounced and went in search of the divine God, and so on. Probably this might be in response to one of my videos in which I emphasized the married life, the family life, the importance of family life, which I said is the basis for spiritual life. So I'm going to talk about that to you all. Probably some of you may have similar questions. And before I do that, I want to again re-emphasize, I've been saying this from my first video, that I'm not expecting anything from you. Probably after watching my Kalki, talking about Kalki video, and also another video, who is Kalki, and so on, you might have probably thought in basically two ways. One is, I must be one of those false Swamijis who is after money, constructing ashrams, statues of my favorite God, wishing to be surrounded by bhaktas, and so on, so on. I don't expect anything at all. No money, no fame, no crowd, nothing. I don't expect anything. In fact, the energy, I've told you several times, around me will never allow you to form a group around me. It will make you to dig into yourself deeply, make yourself understand who you are, and so on, but it will never allow you to worship me, to pay me money, to crowd around me, and so on. So please keep that very, very carefully, very attentively, very strongly in your mind while you watch my video, especially this one. Now, coming back to the topic of today, I've been saying to you that there are 7 kinds of energies inside each and every human body. They correspond to the 7 chakras as detailed in many yogic books, and there may be some of you who have never read that, or even after reading who don't believe it because it has not been your experience or it has not been told in your religious books, and so on and so on. Nevertheless, you all know that you inherit something from your parents, some energies, chromosomes, as they call in science. These energies in general make you to live this life that you are leading, making to experience sufferings, happiness, and so on and so on. I have also been talking that there are 3 lights, 3 jyotis, 3 energies surrounding your body, which I call the white light, red light, and the golden light, which I've been saying that they all originate from some state of the eternal unknown, which Hindus call Shiva and Maheshwara, Also the Christians call the God, one God. Even those folks who don't believe in all those three energies, I told you in the earlier video that there is something called I, the pure I-ness inside you, the love inside you, the power to remove various ignorances inside you. So whenever I talk about the three lights, the energies inside those three lights, think of all those always these three things. The energy of I, the pure I inside you, the energy of love inside you, the energy outside your body. I'm sorry, instead of saying inside you, I should have said outside you. The white light, the pure I-ness outside you, the pure love outside you, the pure power to remove your ignorances outside you. These three energies, let's call them as divine energies because they are not impacted by the sufferings of the whole humanity, not only living right now, but all those folks who lived in the past from the Stone Age onwards. These three energies don't have any impact, don't have any mark as opposed to the energies inside your body, the seven kinds of energies that I've been talking about. They all have the markings of the sufferings and happiness and all kinds of experiences humanity has lived and experienced in the past. Let's call this force inside the human body as the force of ignorance. Christians call this as a satanic force. Hindus call this as demons, asuras, and so on. And I simply call them as force of ignorance. There is this fight between these two forces. The energy of ignorance inside your body, the energies of the divine which is outside your body. Various world events, human suffering, happiness, etc., they are a result of the fight between the two kinds of energies. Now, in the case of Jesus, these three energies outside impacted the energies inside Jesus' body such a way that he could realize that he is one and the same as this golden light, the pure love, the life principle, etc. He didn't realize the one God that he taught. He said that that's the eternal Father, the Father in heaven, and so on. The three energies outside his human body didn't impact him to the extent that he can declare that I am the eternal unknown God. Same way, for Buddha, these three energies impacted him after he got married, after he lived a very luxurious life. made him to come out of marriage, the palace, made him to suffer enormously. The history says that his body was almost like a skeleton before he realized that everything is shunya. He attained the nirvana, state of nirvana. But he didn't say, I am the eternal unknown one, the one descriptionless, nameless, beyond everything, and so on. The three energies outside his body didn't impact him in a way that he can declare so. Vivekananda was a disciple of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was enormously impacted by him, by his guru. Vivekananda lived throughout his life as a disciple, as a bhakta of his beloved guru. He didn't realize that he is the eternal, unknown, descriptionless God. The three energies outside his body didn't impact him to declare that. Same thing is true with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He didn't have much formal education. He loved Kali, especially the statue form, the statue of Kali, enormously. Through that, he realized the love of the golden light. Almost at the end of his life, some sannyasi who was walking or roaming around India, various parts of India, who touched the head of Ramakrishna and made him to realize the eternal unknown. But he didn't really experience the inner structure of all the God, the world of God. He basically remained within the confines of the Hindu tradition. He didn't have any formal education. He didn't have the background of the whole world. So those three lights, energies around his body impacted him only to a certain extent. Same thing is true, similar thing is true with Ramana Maharishi. But that is not the way that these three energies impacted me. Please keep in mind what I said in the beginning of the video. I'm not saying all these things to get anything from you. I'm just stating the fact. As I know, it's very, very hard for you to believe it, understand it. I don't want you to believe it blindly, in which case you'll not be able to independently think of various ignorances that I'm pointing out and be able to come out of that. Also, don't close the door completely saying that whatever I'm saying is all nonsense and go away, because then you are missing some of the extremely important teachings from those three energies outside my human body and outside your body. Be neutral and think independently and find out what you need to do. I grew up as a very, very poor child, born to uneducated parents at a time when India was going through enormous suffering after the independence. I was asking at that time within myself and also my grandma why people are suffering, why the God that my grandma was worshipping is not solving the problems of suffering, etc. etc. And also, I decided to come out of this enormous poverty going around in my village. I decided to study, be independent without knowingly doing all this thing. I inherently thought of doing focusing on studies, come out of all this poverty line. And when I was doing my MTech in Bombay IIT in computer science, I read the books of Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and also Ramana Maharishi and so on. I was not very happy, as I said in my earlier videos, by various things told in those books about God. So I challenged strongly, because I was so much fed up with all the conflicting information that people have been telling me about God. So I challenged that God and said, if there is any such thing, then that one should come and teach me everything about itself. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe in anything. And one of those days, when that event happened after I got married and my child was on the way. So my first experience was tremendous. This golden light entered through the top of my head and changed myself totally. In other words, the seven energies inside my body was totally dismantled. After that, it had no power at all. I never sought any of the experiences that I have been describing to you myself. I didn't seek any of them. They all came to me unasked after arresting my human mind totally in a moment when I was expecting such things least. It showed me all my experiences, spiritual experiences, out of which I learned the world of God, the relationship between human beings and the world of God, and so on and so on. This is how the three lights around my body impacted me. I never had an idea that I should leave my family life, teach to the world what I learned. I was just talking to some of my friends around me about my experiences, that's all. Then, at the end of last year, around September, something inside me strongly forced me to publish my first video. And at that time, there were hardly any subscribers. There were only a few of my friends and relatives. Now there are more people who have subscribed. And at this time, a few months back, I started talking about Kalki and relationship between Kalki and me and so on. You may say that this is my own interpretation, is my own wish and so on. But it's very difficult for you to understand how I operate, function in day-to-day life. Even now, I do not know the future. Whatever I've been talking to you may be totally ignored, nothing may happen in future. Something tremendous else, tremendous thing, tremendous change in the world also might happen. My tendency always is to think that the future is totally unknown and completely open. So I focus completely on day-to-day basis and today, and I keep publishing my videos. That is how the three energies impacted me. To declare to you without any hesitation that I am the eternal, unknown, descriptionless, fathomless, quote unquote God. I am here to remove all your ignorances, to make you to understand the difference between attachment and love, and remove those attachments, the ignorances surrounding your attachment, and make you to experience, to shower the God's love, the eternal love on everybody in your family and surroundings, and also to make you understand who you really are, independent of your religious background, independent of your country of origin, independent of your race, independent of the color of the skin, independent of everything. I would like to shatter all the divisive forces into your mind, change the direction of the humanity. Whether that will happen or not depends on the fight between the divine forces around human beings and the forces of ignorance inside the human body of each and every one of you. That is yet to be seen. So, the short answer to the question that one of my viewers asked is, people like Jesus, Buddha, Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, and so on, they were impacted in different ways by these three energies that I've been talking about, and made them to teach whatever those three energies allowed them to teach. That's what I want to communicate to you folks. I'll talk to you soon through another important video.